OMG, y'all. They hacking me again. But I'm back. And I make sure, look, this time I made sure I got my charger hooked up to it while I record so it won't go dead again. And then that happens, right? So I'm waiting for y'all to get back on. We back. All right, let's see. Let's see. Oh my gosh. All right, welcome back, y'all. All right, so Chama Wingapo, TashaXi, some of y'all know. We are out here in Old Town Alexandria, and we are about to get into the history here. Now, Old Town Alexandria was one of the largest domestic slave ports in the nation, okay? So most of the slaves who were domestic, and some of us know what domestic means from here, right? The slaves from here came through Alexandria, Virginia. Okay, and this is the actual, one of the actual ports. I don't know if this is the same wood, hundreds of years ago. But this is one of the actual ports that the domestic slaves came through. So slaves from like New Orleans, slaves from Canada, slaves from New York, Pennsylvania, other places, right? Florida came through these ports here. So on the other side here is actually Maryland. I'm on the Virginia side. So all that over there. And that's just showing you, like I said on the other video, how close Virginia and Maryland are to each other. And over there, those buildings over there are the MGM Grand and the National Harbor. And then the bridge on the other side of that bridge is going into the Atlantic Ocean. Y'all, I already said all this, but I'm saying it again because I know people ain't gonna watch the other video. Alito, Aaliyah. Hey, Camp Powerton, P. Parker. Okay, I met you in Atlanta. I'm about to say Texas. Hopefully you come out of Texas. All right. So what I had planned, oh, y'all can't see me now. What I had planned to do, even though it's hot, I was going to actually do the walk that the enslaved people did from this port. So they will walk up here, they will make a left and go up Duke Street. So the actual port that they were imprisoned at is on Duke Street. It's 1315 Duke Street. It's not a quarter mile, it says 1.7 miles from here. So you said what's wrong with Texas? Texas is what's wrong. The governor is what's wrong with Texas. There's nothing wrong with Texas. The governor and COVID is what's wrong with them. We still gonna get it together, y'all. Helito. Oh, it's nice meeting you too. Y'all, I was so tired in Atlanta. I have to apologize if I wasn't as social as I wanted to be. Well, let me let y'all see, because out here, somebody got their little mini yacht out. You can see the port, and it's turned into like more of a park. It's a park now, more of a pleasurable place. But back in the day, from 1828 to 1868, I believe, this was a slave port, right? So the domestic slaves came through here. And we know that a lot of those domestic slaves were indigenous people to this land and to other lands in the Americas, all right? So you don't really hear people talk about the domestic slave trade, right? They're always talking about what happened with the other place, right? All these people that they alleged, what they say, 100 million people, 100 million people came. Isn't that what the Pan-Africans say? No, that didn't happen. Only 5%, allegedly, of the enslaved Africans came to the United States, right? Most of the slaves here were domestic slaves. Okay. Not one boat, right? And then still the numbers don't add up. The logs of the boats do not add up. This is condemned, so we can't go over there. I was going to actually walk off the port. Let me see. Let's see if we can walk down here. Yeah, but all that stuff is y'all know that's fabricated, right? What'd you say? Say yes, they enslaved our indigenous ancestors from here. Exactly, and that's another reason why they do not talk about this domestic slave trade, right? You hear roots. Roots was in Virginia, right? They talk about roots. And most of the slaves on roots was like, we never seen an African Guinea man, right? That's what Kunta Kinte was looked at like an oddity. He was looked at like, let's stay away from him because we don't know about him and his culture, right? And that's not to offend people, that's just how it was, even though Roots is a fake movie. And I said before, yes, some Africans did come here, but it wasn't that many, right? Most of the slaves were domestic. So all this area here used to be the port where those enslaved people would get off. And they would have to walk 1.7 miles to this place to be imprisoned and then put on the auction block and traded. Hey, Halito, coach. You said they lying, Aaliyah, you said they lying about the transatlantic slave trade. Exactly. And that's why they don't mention all these things are blocked off. This one's blocked off too. So we're gonna have to imagine that I'm walking off the port. Oh my goodness. It's looking bad over here too. Look at this. Look at this, y'all. They need to clean this stuff up. This thing too close to the National Harbor to be looking this bad. All right. Anyways, I'm gonna have to walk. Lito, Damon, you said Caribbean too. Yes, they came from the Caribbean. They don't talk about all the slaves that came from the Caribbean. They only want to talk about those from over there. But the Caribbean is still the Americas, right? It's still the Americas. You said, yes, the people there that they enslaved, they were our ancestors, not from Africa, but from here. Yes, the majority were domestic slaves. Okay. And a lot of these people, you saw from the 12 Years a Slave, you know, some of them were free people already that were kidnapped. I mean, everybody wasn't born to be enslaved, right? All right, hopefully I can find this place. Hey, peace, Tony. So while we're walking, which shouldn't take that long, I mean, by car it's 7 minutes, so it's gonna take me a little bit longer because I got flip-flops. We can talk about the gang culture and indigenous culture. So somebody, I believe Ross Smith, had made a post on Instagram showing a video of the game, the rap, and the comedian Eddie Griffin talking about gang culture. So he had the game talking about, oh, the Crips were from the Bloods and they got their name because they were walk funny and crippled and some, like the stuff he was saying, it didn't even make sense, right? And then they had Eddie Griffin, and he was talking about that the Crips from the gangs came from the Black Panthers, and they all started as Crips, and then some left. I think some left to create the Bloods in Los Angeles or something like that, and even that's not correct. So I'm not like a gang historian or nothing like that, but I know that there's a lot that was left out. So that's why I was like, there's a lot of misconceptions in the video, and both of them were not 100% accurate historically. So, but you know, at the root of it all is what I said, it's all indigenous cultures. From going out a little later for your dead homie, that's a ritual we did, right? Some of our cultures here did that. Initiation rites to. I'm gonna see if I can find a clip, but there's a show called, what is it called? Outlander. It's like a historical fiction show. And the people on there, there was a guy that was taken in by the Mohawk. And he was initiated in exactly how the gangs initiate people in. He was beat in. So some of y'all know for gang culture, it's like a soul train line of people. I'm trying to break it down simple. People on one side, people on the other side, and then the person that's being initiated has to come down the middle of both sides and basically beat up. So if the person like keeps on their feet or they keep fighting, then they are proven to be fit to be initiated into the tribe. Okay. And I'm going uphill, y'all. So I'm trying to run out of steam. You said you love that show. I do too. It was so cool. You said telling us we from Africa to displace us from our own land. Yeah, I really think the thing is that they don't want us to be looking into these things. They don't want people to question anything. Right? So if you are from here, you're going to be fighting harder for what was yours and what was your ancestors. Walter, he said hello. Oh, I can't. Let me go back and read. Just Africans, or are they native in origin? I'm not Geechee, so I can't speak with so much. But I believe some people have different heritage in the Geechees. Some people who might have African heritage is trying to claim that the tribe is 100% African, which I don't believe. Ogeechee was a tribe and a river in that area. And the Ogeechees are part of, it depends on which you want to call them, creeks or Yamasee. So creek is the government name for the group, just like Cherokee was the official government name for the Noaia. You said what part of Norfolk? I'm in Alexandria, Virginia. It should be in the title. All right, I guess I'm back. Like I walk like near this Catholic place, dressing up. It's like a little priest guy in his little uniform in the backyard, talking to some other guy. Look weird. Look weird. But I'm back, y'all, so I'm still walking towards the place. Now this is a long walk. Imagine being on the boat for months or weeks or however long they were, being tired and beat up and hungry and having to walk all the way here. I'm already annoyed, especially with these stupid cobblestones. Y'all still on the street, I don't know what to say. But it's talking about the gang culture, so we're talking about the initiation rites, right? The whole gang being beat into the gang comes from indigenous culture. The dance, the crip walk and all that stuff, those are traditional dances. And a lot of those come from secret societies that the indigenous, specifically the indigenous men had. And they did those sort of dances. Can y'all say that y'all can hear me in the chat, please? So I feel like I'm talking to myself. Sure. So I definitely want to make sure that y'all can hear me. I can't see nothing in this chat. Hold on. Okay, I see you, Lucia. The thing, like, I feel like I'm being hacked or something, because it had the chat turned off and all this crazy stuff. You already heard the ad came on here again this week. It said, look beautiful and sound wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. So we're at 5:02 now. Got to get to 13:15. So we're around halfway there. So just imagine how annoyed you would be if you're captured, taken away from your family, probably barely eating, probably couldn't take a shower, nothing, and you have to walk from all the way where I was all the way up to this place just to be chained once again and locked into some type of dungeon. Just imagine how you feel. Especially in a day like this. It's like 90 degrees. I would be so annoyed. That's just one of the things that our ancestors had to go through. Something simple like that. They didn't have an Uber. I was thinking about calling the Uber, so I didn't want to have to look for parking, which is crazy out here. I already paid for parking. I'm just saying. Yeah, so just imagine you being chained up to a bunch of other people, sweating, tired, and you gotta walk this. Like, why would they make this place so far away from the port? It's ridiculous. Yes, imagine it was a living hell. Exactly. Yeah, I'm doing it the original way by walking. You said they watch, and they probably, that was like a little rich neighborhood I was walking through, so all the Wi-Fi just zapped up, and then magically once I got out of there, Wi-Fi's back. Okay, what else was I talking about? Gang culture? Yeah, that's the only whips here. Now they had some whips here now. Somebody had a McLaren. Yeah, they got some money. It's old money people over here. Some of them probably had these houses since that time, since the 1700s. All right, the sun is beaten down, so it's hard for me to read. I gotta take a rest. Oops, let me see if I can see. You said you live in Fredericksburg, and it's an historic place for us. What place are you talking about? Now look at this. Now the camera zoomed in. Like, what the hell? Y'all saw that, right? We are resilient. We salute and honor. Yeah, old money. You know where old money comes from? From our sweat equity, right? From tricking us. Tricking others like us, right? Yeah, they messing up. That was just so weird how it started. Okay, so where are we now? We're not there yet, but I gotta wait for the stupid light. Yeah, so hope y'all can still hear me. The gang culture is really bred in the indigenous cultures, and a lot of the secret societies and the warrior culture that we had here. You can see that, right? Like even back in the day, like the old biker gangs and people like that, they had mohawks, right? Yeah, because the traffic is so loud today. It's a Saturday, y'all know. And those who are alive. All right, y'all. Some of y'all know. This is the historic Alfred Street Church. historically so-called black. I gotta wait for this thing. Somebody just gotta, look at this. Somebody put their old furniture out here. Oh my goodness, it gotta be somebody old. Maybe there's only 4 of y'all left. Oh well. Everybody else gonna have to catch the replay, I guess. Y'all can see now? Yeah, when I end this footage, either it stays on forever live, or they won't let me save it. That's what happened to one of my other videos, well, 2 of my other videos. You hear me? So here it is, Freedom House coming up. I think it's 2 more blocks. All right. So we're almost there. You said, wow, you're back. You were out for about 5 minutes. Yeah, it's going, for me, I see it going in and out, like it's going from black and white to color. I know y'all are annoyed by it. Hey, Jermaine. You said you used to work in Old Town. Well, you know there's a whole bunch of old money out here, right? Like anybody who can afford to live out here now, you gotta have money. Maybe 20, 30 years ago, when the projects was here, when most of the old people who descend from the free people of color still own these places, it was a little bit more affordable, but the violence and stuff was up. Now it's been completely gentrified. So you already know how that is, right? All right, we're almost there, y'all. Okay. What'd you say? You said you got mad because they tore down the roller rink. Yeah, they tore down a lot of stuff. Oh my gosh. All through Virginia, they tore down the roller rinks. I think it's like 1 left in Manassas and 1 way out in Ashland, down near Richmond. And even those places have limited hours and stuff, especially now they do, but even before. You said him and some artifacts under those bricks. Oh my gosh, y'all still here? All right, y'all, finally made it. It's going in and out. I appreciate the ones who stayed around. How many people is that? 8 people? Keeps going in and out. Y'all gonna have to catch the replay. And then I'm gonna try to film some stuff off camera. All right, so this is the building beside it. Got this Black Lives Matter stuff. I think this is like an apartment building. And here it is right here, this big white building. Hopefully we stay online with this one. Virginia Historic Landmark, Franklin and Armfield Office. Designated a National Historic Landmark by the United States Department of Interior. Okay, they got a little COVID sign. It's probably closed because of COVID. Yes, it closed until further notice, so we can't go in, y'all. But when I got here, I could feel this strong energy here. They got the windows open too. Okay, here it is. Let's read what it says so we don't walk this far. Franklin and Armfield Slave Office, 1315 Duke Street. Isaac Franklin and John Armfield. Can y'all hear me? I hope y'all can hear me. Isaac Franklin and John Armfield leased this brick building with access to wharves and docks in 1828 as a holding pen for enslaved people being shipped from Northern Virginia to Louisiana. They purchased the building and 3 lots in 1832. From this location, Armfield bought bondspeople at a low price and shipped them south to his partner Franklin in Natchez, Mississippi. All right, there's some clues, y'all. Some of y'all ancestors might have been here. All right, and to Natchez, Mississippi, and to Louisiana New Orleans, Louisiana, to be sold for at higher prices. So basically they bought enslaved people at wholesale, and they shipped them all to Mississippi, Louisiana to be sold at a retail price. I'm sorry, y'all. Too many interruptions, right? Too many interruptions. So they were taken from here, Alexandria, Virginia, and shipped to New Orleans and to Natchez, Mississippi, for a retail price. By 1830s, they're often sold 1,000 people annually, operating as one of the largest slave trading companies in the United States until 1836. Slave traders continuously owned property until 1861. So what is that saying? If this place sold only, they're trying to make it like a high number, 1,000 people annually, where all these other people come from, right? Where all these people come from? This is one of the largest, what they said, largest slave trading companies in the United States. They often sold 1,000 people annually. If y'all do the numbers, some of y'all who are familiar with the numbers, it don't add up, right? Not at all. And this is one of the doors to the back. I don't think, let's see if we can look in here. I am not trying to touch that door. I don't think we can see nothing back there. But back there, that's where they used to, like we walked all the way from those docks. They would march those people all the way there. Let me show y'all. All the way down there to the back door, right? And that's where they would lock the people up. And people would be stuck there until they were sold wholesale to Louisiana and to Mississippi. All right, so ain't nothing else out here because it's closed. I might have to come back once COVID's over, so I can show y'all the full thing. All right, I'm gonna walk and hopefully I'm not gonna get buffered out. But like I said, the energy's high now. I feel like I'm getting a headache over here. Oh, let's walk this way because this way is it's another museum that I went to. The other museum last year, probably like in October, and they told me about this one, but this one was still closed and they were redoing it, and of course it's closed now because of COVID, but I couldn't go there that day because it was closed. Let's see if this other place is open. Now the other place, it was one of the first integrated buildings in the country, which was a library. So the local people of color, which like I said, a lot of them descended from the free people of color, they wanted to use a library that was just as good a quality as everybody else. So they took this library here in Alexandria and they forcibly integrated it. They had all types of sit-ins. Mostly young men of color would come, oh look at this, will come and sit in the library until the police came. And then they finally were able to integrate it by law. Let's see, what is this? Okay, 1323 Duke Street, from slavery to freedom. Let me see if I can read this to y'all. It's a lot to read, but okay, talking about Toussaint. So this is the Alexandria Heritage Trail too. So there's a lot of other stuff here too. Shiloh Baptist is also a free people of color church too. That's infamous here. So Shiloh Baptist Church has a long history on the block. 50 free people gathered in Old Chur Hospital Mess Hall as the Old Shiloh Society, led by Reverend Leland Warning, a secret society I told y'all, which they had a lot to do with a lot of the colored churches then. Reverend Leland Waring, Charles Rogers, and E. Owens. The congregation moved across West Street after the Civil War. The clerk of the church, James Ballard, and his wife Mary bought 1323 Duke Street in 1920. The Shiloh Baptist Church, under the pressure of Reverend Moses W. Beasley, purchased it from the widow Mary Ballard in 1957. Blah, blah, blah. So this was like I told y'all earlier, this was a free people of color area. So just imagine that there was a lot, like a large free community here while slavery, and none of these people try to say anything by money. So that's showing you the classism vision between free and enslaved. And there's also stories about the free people here being friends with enslaved people. Like one of George Washington's slaves, she was infamous for coming down here and hanging out in the free community. She is, and when he finds her, or somebody that works for him finds her, he'll cuss them out on the street. I remember I read that one time Mary, his wife, Mary Washington, came. She was walking through here, I guess shopping or whatever, and she saw the slave girl, and the girl was with a free woman of color, and they both cussed Mary out, and then they jumped her. And she came home without the girl. So then they had to send the overseer and them to come get the girl, but they whooped her tail, and she was like, I'm not going anywhere. You can't tell me what to do. I don't care what them papers say that you own me. I'm a person. I'm gonna do what I want to do. That's what the girl said. And her friend, who was a free woman, they both jumped Mary, because I guess Mary started talking crazy and try to, grab her. And they was like, no, Karen. Oh my goodness, I can't see y'all chats. Let me see if I can see y'all chats again. Yeah, right now was a free community. My 7th great-grandfather, West Ford, found. He also found Gum Springs community down Alexandria, Virginia. Yeah, Richmond Highway, Route 1. Yep. See, I know what I'm talking. Y'all be acting like I'm freestyling. I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, let me see what else y'all saying. He said I was probably on a school field trip from Thomas Jefferson Elementary in Arlington. So you grew up there, church, and it's African American cemetery right around the corner. Oh, okay. A lot of history right here. Yeah, people weren't just sitting back. They want us to think that people were sitting back and just letting stuff happen to them. I was buffering again. Oh no, I'm sorry, y'all. Trying to get y'all the best out here. Trying to go live and put my feet on the streets, right? Y'all hear me now? I think because I turned a certain way. All right, I hope y'all can hear me. Let me know if y'all can hear me so I can continue. All right, I'm gonna keep going. Hopefully it's recording, even if, okay, thank you, Karen. Not you, Karen, though. Not you. Oh my goodness, yeah, nothing new under the sun, right? So these people been doing their thing, like fighting. There was other people, like I said, there's free people of color who just turned a blind eye, and then there was other people who were abolitionists and who fought, right? So that's the polarities of these people who were free and the people who were enslaved. Just like the slaves, there's people who wanted to run away for freedom, and there's other people who turned a blind eye, and just like, it is what it is. And they kept living their life, and they wanted to keep their families together. And a lot of times when you read the slave narratives, when somebody gets sold off, that's when people are like, okay, this is the last straw, I got to get up out of here. Either they want to go to freedom or they want to go find their family. So that's what happened. You said we was the first fad item, and we caught, so everyone wanted one. Yeah, of course. I mean, people saying, they can get stuff done without having to do it themselves. It was a business, even though it was a cruel business. It was a business, right? So we got to look at, when we're looking historically, we can't be emotional all the time, or otherwise we're going to miss some facts, right? Tasha makes it plain. Yeah, so people can think, so you can feel and be in the moment of what happened then, right? Okay, so it says this house was built by Emmanuel Jones by 1888 and stands as expressions of freedom, military service, medical care, religious services, and Alexandria's first collective civil rights action. So a lot of stuff happened here. A lot of people never heard of Alexandria, Virginia. A lot of important things that have to do with us happened right here from DC, from the White House, and then in one direction, and then in the other directions where George Washington lived at Mount Vernon, right? In his plantation over there. And I already told y'all what the mess was going on in his plantation. He had to keep up a certain image, but a lot of the workers were not working. A lot of people there refused to work. So he had to keep hiring and firing overseers because they couldn't take control of the people. And which some people here speculate is that a lot of the people that he had enslaved here were formerly free people. And that's what the issue was. And a lot of them were indigenous people as well. All right, there's one called, I think her name was Mary Branham. Some of y'all know Branham is a surname that's associated with the Monacan Indians. Okay, these people, and that's also another misconception, that people had their slave master's name. Mary Branham was Mary Branham, and George Washington was George Washington. That was her name. She had a first and a last name. Okay, that's the misconception. She wasn't Mary Washington. She was Mary Branham. All right, let me finish reading the rest on here before this thing starts buffering. The block was purchased by slave dealers in 1835 and continued to be used by a succession of successful businesses until the end of the Civil War, which is in 1861 through 1865. The Union troops took control of the block and built Ouverture, I'm not a French speaker, L'Ouverture Hospital in 1864 to care for soldiers serving in the U.S. colored troops, which people don't talk about that either. Initials is USCT. So a lot of people, when they start doing their genealogy, they'll see that they have male ancestors who served in this U.S. colored troops. Okay, some of them would do pensions and other payments, so you'll be able to find those when you do your genealogy as well. Hundreds protested inequality in death and petitioned for burial in the military burial grounds, known today as Alexandria National Cemetery. The hospital's mess halls was early meeting places for the congregation that became Shiloh Baptist Church. Okay, and you also saw that Shiloh Baptist Church was connected to the secret society called Old Shiloh Society. Okay, so the free people of color, I know there's a lot of stigmatism and there's a lot of negative condensation, or connotation to secret societies, but they served as a pivotal place or a meeting place for a lot of the free people of color. A lot of the free men of color and women were a part of secret societies. Okay, I know the most famous is Prince Hall or whatever. But there's a lot of smaller ones. We see Shiloh, they put it on here, Old Shiloh, different small groups of people. Doesn't mean they're doing crazy stuff and eating babies or whatever people saying on YouTube. Everybody is crazy people in every group, but these people are coming together to make things better for their community in these groups. I don't know what else they was doing, but that's all I know from history. Okay, and this is showing how the building originally looked that I showed over there. You said Oronico. That's a powerful word. You said they denounced their indigenous nation when that happened. Who did? Hey, Yana. So, let's see. It says slave dealers Isaac Franklin and John Armfield opened their business on the 1300 block of Duke Street in 1828. So we know that nationally, the importation of slaves were banned in 1808, right? After that, a lot of people, like these people, Franklin and Armfield, decided to go hard on the domestic trade, which was already happening. The domestic trade was the first trade, okay? Then they were bringing in Europeans, and then they started bringing that little bit of Africans that they brought in, right? But the biggest part of slavery was this domestic trade. And these two, Franklin and Armfield, were the biggest dealers. And it already said they only was selling 1,000 people a year, okay? So how do we get from that? How can you end up with millions of people that are enslaved? Some of the numbers is not adding up at all. Okay. Armfield lived and worked at 1315 Duke Street, where the Northern Virginia Urban League's Freedom House Museum is located. He purchased thousands of African Americans and shipped them to Franklin, who lived in New Orleans, for auction. This is 1863 photograph, and it dates to the Union occupation and displays the name of the last slave trading firm in the building, and that was J. Russell. Okay, so J. Russell was the last firm that worked for him in the building. And this is the floor plan right here. See the floor plan? The different streets. It's West Street. We're on West Street now. That's Duke Street, and that's where the house is. So they had all this stuff behind it that they were storing people in. Right here, this is like the yard, I guess. You know, they have the prison yard where people could, I guess, get a little bit of exercise, and I guess they washed them up over there, if they even did that. All right. Whew. Oh, this is how they turn it. This is the hospital right here. Okay, so it was eventually turned to the hospital. So this is how they used the old plans, this old building, and turned it into the hospital. Yeah, more than 1,000. They were the highest sellers though, Karen. They sold 1,000 people a year. That's what they guess. So they're talking about the hospital here. We know it's named after Toussaint L'Ouverture from Haiti, from the Haiti Revolution. Okay. You said your family are the Durham from North Carolina, Durham. All right. The L'Ouverture hospital plan shows buildings covering much of the block, perhaps due to the elevated floors and roof vents of the canvas war tents. Most of the soldiers recuperated from their injuries sustained in battle and common illnesses. The hospital accommodated over 600 patients at a time, and more than 1,400 soldiers were admitted from 1864 to 1865. Whoa, that's a lot, right? Archaeological investigations document that no evidence survived from the hospital. I wonder why. They probably burnt that thing to the ground. A Union hospital was named for Toussaint Louverture from 1743 to 1803, primary leader of the Haitian Revolution, which happened in 1791 through 1808. A self-educated, liberated slave, L'Ouverture proved to be a brilliant military commander who led an army of slaves to drive out European armies and take control of much of the island. His Constitution of 1801 abolished slavery and affirmed equal legal protection to all. The fight for independence from France resulted in the world's first country created by liberated slaves. All right, so, and then they pretty much going into Civil War and stuff like that. Yeah, y'all. So it's a lot of history out here. A lot of history. All right. To hear everything. Burn it down. What you doing? So a couple of, there's a church over there. I think that's Shiloh Baptist Church. here. A couple of folks out there. I don't want to get everybody on camera, but so you can see it was like a nice little community for people of color. Why atrocities of slavery were going on at the same time. Right? Said, could it be slavery was really about people who were incarcerated and had to work off their crimes? Yeah, in some aspects it was. Some people were completely innocent though. Completely innocent. Yeah. It was a long time frame. I doubt everybody was guilty of crimes during that time. Ooh, it's getting hot out here, y'all. Trying to find a place to sit down. So much shit going on. Y'all got any questions on here? You said you believe you're right. How could anyone sell their indentured servants? Well, ooh, some seats. They did it illegally. We know they did a whole bunch of stuff illegally. A whole bunch of stuff illegally. Let me sit down, y'all. See, I can see what y'all saying. You said not to incarcerate the indentured. You said actually Shiloh Baptist Church was actually the first mosque. Some of the Washington slaves who were Muslim founded the church. Oh, I didn't know that. That's another thing that they leave out. A lot of stuff about Muslims in America as well. They sure do. Cams, you said Asir the Duke clearly mapped it out. Only lasted 75 years. And what? That 1619 time frame. Yeah, we already went over that. That didn't happen. Whew, no, I'm sweating. I'm just grateful, right? Grateful I only had to walk it just to show y'all, not had to really walk that for anybody, right? You said Daughters of the Resolution was telling fish stories. What kind of stories they told? They don't, some of those people don't seem to know much. They're just a bunch of regular people who just happen to have ancestors that were in Revolutionary War, right? Yeah, it's super hot, and then I forgot my dang on water. It's like all these shops are closed here. So I might have to end up calling an Uber or something. Thank you, y'all. Yeah, the humidity is crazy, y'all. This humidity's crazy. Yeah, I'm taking a break right now. He said a lot of YouTube scholarship is pseudo. Well, you see what I'm kicking, y'all. Y'all see I'm showing y'all primary sources. And people in the chat are backing up what I'm saying. So the stuff that I'm saying off my head, y'all are backing it up. So, whoosh. And this battery going dead soon. So I'm gonna have to end it off soon so I can head back. So I thought this was like open. I thought it was like an ice cream shop. I was like, yes. I'm gonna have to take a long break, y'all. What y'all saying? Oh, please share this video out, you guys. Y'all say how they were hating on this feed. People really need to see what was going on here. You gonna go back, Carrie? Yeah, I know you probably was busy because you was up all night on the other feed with Phoenix. Oh, thank you, Shiva. You said you're eligible to join DAR. I think I am too, but it's like, do I really want to be around all these people? I don't know. Is the No Grandma Tour coming to Florida? Yes, we should be coming to Florida. It's just going to take a while to get everywhere. No problem, Karen. It's going to take a while to get everywhere, you guys. Because of COVID, really. So we had everything mapped out, and now COVID's in our way. Well, we're going to be in Texas next, and then Virginia, October 10th, for the Indigenous Indian Council. Carms, you said the Piscataway Indians around John Hanson Plantation, now John Akelhama, sold it them 200 acre story. They deleted what? When I was sharing it about 8 years ago. Oh, I gotta look into that. He said maybe Dar was selling fish stores to school kids like you. Yeah, they were. I really, or they didn't know. People acting like they know, but now a lot of this, people are stop being lazy and stop taking people's word for it and actually going on the streets and looking up the stuff like I just did, y'all. So y'all see, I'm tired. Just imagine I was on a boat for however long, weeks or months, and then they made me walk. Wouldn't you be pissed off? it's like that's cruel. That was cruel right there. You said you actually live around the corner from the old John Hanson plantation. I have a lot of documentation on the Piscataway tribe and Southern Maryland history. Please, cousin, you gotta please email me so we can talk about all that. And if you feel comfortable, yeah, I am hot. If you, Sean, I am hot. If you feel comfortable enough, you can come on air with us and talk about it. Piscataway is, for me, it's been hard finding information about it. I know the Proctors are very deep. The Proctor family are very deep in the Piscataway history, and y'all hold a lot. I know you're a Proctor. Y'all hold a lot of the information that we don't know. The public doesn't know. Yeah, I'm sweating, y'all. Look. Sweat. I'm sweating. It's hot. Yeah, I'm trying to fall out here by myself, and it's this thing buffering, and then somebody done got me, and y'all don't know where I'm at. So yeah, it was designed cooler than most likely because of the trees and such that have been removed. Yeah, they cutting down a lot of trees because the storms and trees falling on the houses and stuff. Yeah. You said we ain't slaved the stuff. What? The story fake? All of us weren't. My family wasn't enslaved, but I'm not gonna say it's fake just because my family wasn't enslaved. I know the numbers ain't right, like I already said. But just like that place we're at was the largest place, and they only sold 1,000 people a year. So everybody else can't be selling that much. So a lot of these people were not enslaved. You said all of my school friends came from Old Town Alexandria. When they started busing them to the white schools, they lived in that area of Old Town. Yeah, Old Town used to be the hood at one time, especially in the 80s. It was bad. When crack hit, we would lock the doors. Lock the doors, roll up the windows. That's what my parents said when we came to Old Town. Now it's like Yuppieville. I can actually sit out here and not be bothered. But we used to be the hood. Yeah, Negus, I'm not saying that we enslaved. I'm saying that some of the people were. And like I said, some of those people were previously free who were captured and enslaved and taken to this place. Everybody wasn't, I said it earlier if you missed it, everybody wasn't born a slave. Oh, thank you. So I like my glasses. Yeah, so. Yeah, you said your brothers and sisters were still strong people. They sure were. Anybody, I'm just that walk alone. I'm tired. Imagine them having to go. Then they're gonna have to go ship somewhere else to work or being bought. It's just the whole is very inhumane. Very inhumane. He said, I will just say the fact that there was a man named John Johann Alkohama who had allegedly sold the Hansons 200 acres shows that there were men with a lot of property of copper tone around. Oh, I didn't know he was copper. I suspect that they ransacked the people of his tribe. Probably, they probably did. A lot of the tribes around here probably were marched up to that pen over there. A lot of people, a lot of the domestic slave trade was domestic people, right? The indigenous people who were caught up in the slave raids and the Indian wars and traded. Oh, you went to T.C. Williams? Oh, we used to play y'all back in the day. You said Del Rey was the white neighborhood of Birds. The Birds was the ghetto. Yeah, that's true. Yep, Del Rey. Yeah. Yeah, they rewrote the narrative. They really did. Like what I was been saying this whole week, the whole theme is trading places. Entanglement and trading places is the theme of the week. Grandma said they did know anything about slavery until she moved to the city. Yeah. A lot of the country people, a lot of us that got family from the country, they owned their land and they were out there and they're kind of isolated from a lot of the stuff going on, you know. So many natives were enslaved in plantations in Virginia. It's well documented. Yes, very true. Just looking at the history of the Powhatan, there's a book called The True Story of Pocahontas. It's written by one of the former chiefs who passed away, Chief Costello, Chief Little Bear Costello. And he told the story of the Powhatan and how when the English first came here, they started raiding our towns. I already told y'all about all this stuff. Raiding our towns, kidnapping the women and children while the men were away, and enslaving them. So when the men came back, they had already moved in to their town, and they kind of caught the men off guard and they enslaved them too. So a lot of the people, especially those who descend from the priesthood and the medicine people and stuff like that, they were taken and hidden amongst the Mattaponi. And the Mattaponi was one of the warrior groups, as well as the Pamunkey too. He said, tell it again. Yeah, we got to tell it. Because that's what happened. They want to ignore it and act like it never happened. They make this little Disney story about Pocahontas, not talking about her being a slave herself, her people being enslaved, and all the stuff, basically they taking over towns, burning towns down. If y'all look into, somebody mentioned the Gullah Wars, the Yamasee Wars, or the Seminole Wars, whichever one you want to call it,
So, I don't know.
you would see the documented history of the people, their towns being burnt down and putting them in a vulnerable place so that they can take them off their land. And they took those people and enslaved them. That's why they kept having Seminole War after Seminole War after Seminole War, right? Because the people were fighting for the people. Yeah. You said tell what again? I thought I was telling that class. You said it wasn't your high school you were supposed to attend, but you moved. Oh, you're supposed to go to T.C. Williams. That's T.C. Williams is the famous high school from Remember the Titans, T.C. Williams Titans. That's where that story happened. A lot, like I said, a lot of stuff happened in Alexandria. A lot of stuff in history. You said South Carolina was a melting pot for indigenous people during the 1800s. Yeah, a lot of the free families, like from Virginia, Delaware, Maryland, places like that, even North Carolina, moved down to South Carolina because they had more freedom and they could buy land. People wasn't bothering them, and then people started bothering them. So you said I was doing it? Okay. Yes, many of the people were sold into slavery and taken to Caribbean. They were taken here too. So this is part of the domestic slave trade. So a lot of people from New England, New York area, those people who were enslaved, They were shipped down the river to Virginia, to here, Alexandria, Virginia, and then from there, some of those people were shipped down the river to New Orleans and to Natchez, Mississippi. Okay. I think I'm gonna get off of here and start walking. Yeah, Lenape too. Lenape were up there. Many other tribes. I think it's called the Woodchuck. It's another tribe. We call it blackbird. And yeah, I think that was in Australia, the blackbird. Yeah, yeah, y'all right. Y'all on it. See, that's why I love my subscribers. We do these lives together, don't we? All right, I'm gonna start back walking now. Start back walking. They said, yes, we do. I know, Shiva, you on every one of them, aren't you? So I don't know when this thing is going to cut off, y'all. But I just want y'all, to know that information. I'm out here, foot on the ground, not behind a computer. That's, Yeah, I need some ginger tea. I got the little ginger little bites that you can eat, too. I had some ginger ale before I left because I thought that was going to help. I need to make the actual tea. And my allergy's not even that bad today, though. Y'all usually hear me go sniffing all because I'm doing these videos outside, and then when I get inside, I'm sniffing and all that too. So, yeah, I'm trying to be careful. That's why I'm keeping y'all on here while I'm walking back. So I'm by myself today. Oh, no problem. You said your husband's Cherokee and he's related to Henrietta Lacks. Yes, Henrietta Lacks is from Virginia. She was also part of Powhatan too. I think she was from Caroline County. Caroline County or somewhere around there, King and Queen. And that's where Mildred Loving, I still got to put that video out for y'all. But I've been doing so many lives that I haven't really focused on. I just got to add one thing to it, but editing and finishing the editing and uploading of that one. He said, you dabbing? What is that? Oh, no problem, y'all. No problem. I'm just going to keep it running until it cuts off. Yeah, Mildred, it's a lot of stuff. Like, a lot of stuff is hidden. They don't talk about the ancestry of Martin Luther King and Coretta Scott King, their Creek ancestry. There's a lot of Black Lives Matter stuff out here, y'all. I mean, this is a liberal area over here. They got money, but they liberal too. So, Democrat, very Democrat-heavy area. It's a Henrietta Lacks, honor to her. The ancestors were saving the world. Yes, Henrietta. Don't mention that man name on my live. Y'all better stop it. Y'all better stop it. I'm not trying to say nothing. Y'all be trying to get me to say something bad about folks. I'm not saying nothing about that man. But Henrietta Lacks, her cells help create a lot of the medicines and vaccines that we use today. A lot of science, a lot of the medical and the pharmaceutical world wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for Henrietta Lacks and her immortal cells. So she died, was it 1950, something way back then, 40s. She died a long time ago. And they illegally took her cells from out of her body when she came in for cancer. She had some type of cancer illness. She came in and they gave her some chemo, early chemo, which is very harsh. And she basically died from the chemo. So they took her cells and they did some type of scientific projects on it. And her cells are still alive today. And they're still multiplying. And they're still using them to create these vaccines and these medicines and all types of stuff. Okay, that they're selling for billions and billions of dollars. And they're now finally paying her family who were living in projects and stuff in Baltimore. They're just finally getting some money. They're still not getting all they deserve, though. Yeah, she did passed away in 1951. Yeah, the chemo, the radiation was too strong. They don't, even today, that stuff is too strong. They don't want to use the national remedies, right? The Ojibwa, which is an Algonquian tribe, actually had proven to cure cancer with their tea or their herbal medicines, I think in the 1930s. Those are available on the market. I am actually going to start selling that tea too, called Ojibwa tea, or I think it's called Asiatic tea as well. But it tastes bad, but it's good for cleaning out your system, organ health, curing diseases, and getting your body to be balanced. You said you heard giving out free tickets to, no, who said we're giving out free tickets? No, because there's a lot of stuff we got to pay for. We didn't, most of the money from the ticket sales paid for the event, right? It's not like we became ballers. We want to have a good event for you, so most of the stuff goes to the event. So we need people to buy tickets to cover the event, right? So everybody can have a good time. You have food, you have vendors, entertainment. We'll be able to stream and stuff for those watching online. So the streaming tickets are going to be on sale now. We're going to have those available for y'all tonight. Also for the people who want to come to Texas, we're going to have those tickets available for y'all too. We're not going to do both Dallas and Houston anymore. Okay, we're going to have one private location in Texas for those who want to come out. Okay, so we're going to have more details. We're going to go live later. Coach and Phoenix are going to go live later. I'm probably going to join them if I don't pass out. And then we're going to talk about it. And we also, guys, we got this land fund. We're trying to get land to create a community for all of us. And I'm going to link those in the description. The land is very important to us. And we really need like a central location for everyone. So once we get this land fund, if people want to come and build a house, somebody's poor, or somebody just wants to live out in our community or in the country, they can come to the land, right? So we got to set up these things for everybody, especially for our elders. A lot of our elders are in the city and they can't afford these rents, especially now what's going on. So it's good to have like a fallback place. So if an elder wants to put a trailer out there or build a house, they can do it. Yes, and I'm gonna link that land fund for you guys to donate. Right? And it's for all the Aboriginal people to enjoy. And we're gonna have centers there. We're gonna be farming, right? Grow crops. So especially for people in the city who might not have area to grow stuff, can come out to the land. So the land's gonna be owned by all of us. And be able to put your hand in the dirt. Okay. Yes, oh yes, we can have retreats there and, have events. So we don't have to keep going to city. We can just have some annual events on the land for everybody. Yeah. You say Aboriginal power, he ain't got nothing to do with us. He obviously trying to mess up what we're doing if he talking about we giving out free tickets. No. Phoenix was saying that someone took their money and bought tickets and they couldn't make it, and they donated it to a couple of the people who lived there who couldn't afford to go. So the people bought tickets. Right? All right, somebody who's in this chat could please block this Carlton Walker person, because he keep mentioning that person's name. He mentioning people's names. Say I beef for Phoenix. I really don't have time for it. Sheba, can you block this Carlton person? Yeah, I drove there, so I'm walking back to my car now. Thank you. Yeah, he's trying to cause trouble. I don't want to talk bad about people. Yes, Johns Hopkins University Hospital had a lot to do with what happened to Henrietta because she was in their hospital. And she lived in that neighborhood. And the people in that neighborhood, if you read the book, which was it was very well written. The book, they talk about how, oh, look at that. How, I don't, oh, somebody's in their house. I don't, they have one of those old lamps. But yeah, she talks about, and look, y'all notice that I'm on this street, the other street, which is not the wealthy street. And I'm not having buffering. So, and there's still a bunch of trees over here too. But anyways, so the locals would talk about how they were scared at night of walking the streets because they're scared that Johns Hopkins Hospital would come with a white van and throw them in the van to do a medical test on them. Yeah. No, you're okay, Sheba. I didn't catch him either because I thought he was just being funny. But see, he was sent over here to troll. Yeah, you said we need to return to natural medicine. Yeah. Yep. Karen's right, too. So that's something that we're going to do on that land. Okay. You know, some of us have some experience or a little bit knowledge. I think a lot of us have a little bit knowledge of the old herbs and stuff our grandma and them used to use. So we're going to be putting our hands in the dirt. Yeah, they were snatching people off the streets. It's I don't know if they're still doing it. Right? And some of the people suspect that some of these violence, you know, the violence in Baltimore is due to them wanting people to work on, to experiment on, right? Patients. Experiment on gunshot patients and stuff. Yeah, they still do. They're still snatching folks up. So Baltimore is so crazy and weird, too. Some good people from there, but it's a lot of weird stuff going on. You said you found some blue pine yesterday? Oh, yes. Once it's the best time to harvest the pine needles is going to be in the fall. So when the fall hit, y'all better be getting out big bags of needles. But you also have to give back to the tree. Just leave a little bit of tobacco for it and just ask it before you take some needles to cure you. That's the old ways. Yeah, they're definitely experimenting on everybody now. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's very interesting. I'll look into it. It's a book called Medical Apartheid that goes into that. Stuff that really happened. It's not no conspiracy. Yeah. They're always packing up people in white vans. Oh yeah, I've seen there used to be a whole lot of them out here in Alexandria for one thing. But I don't have any personal experience. You said you got some needles that came from Croatia. What? Well, it's good to get them from here, from the earth here too. So it's going to connect with your genetics, especially if you're American Indian. It's going to connect more with your genetics. We need to stop taking that wicked medicine and stay away from the doctors and the eugenics. It's still in effect. Yeah, that's a big problem. Yeah, it's a big problem here. Yeah, it's definitely eugenics what they were doing, testing out on people. They're testing out in the Polish community as well, because at that time, they didn't see, just because somebody was pale, they didn't see them all as equal either. People from Eastern Europe or places like Poland were seen as inferior as well. Yeah. You say it would be from the East Coast? What's from the East Coast? I don't know. I don't know what what's from these. Ooh, dang on bricks. Yeah, but it's always good to be aware and know what's going on. Don't have to be on weirdo stuff, but you're gonna have to dig deep and look for the deeper meaning of things. Yeah. Don't take these people's, like they always say, even for doctors, you get a second opinion. So everything you see, you gotta get a second opinion, and that second opinion is yours. You gotta do research. Yep, truth is truth. Look deeper. Yeah. All right, I'm getting close. Like I've been walking forever. These streets are so desolate out here. And those from here who are from here know that on Saturday, at this time, these streets used to be jam-packed in Old Town. Now it's barely anybody here. Places are boarded up. Like, what is going on? What is going on out here? Oh my gosh. You said the Democrats